Welcome to the Caddo Convos, the podcast that explores the vibrant community of businesses thriving in Caddo Office Reimagined. We're here to shine a light on the incredible entrepreneurs and professionals who make the most of our private offices, co-working spaces, and day office rentals in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburbs. Join us as we share their stories, celebrate their successes, and dive into the benefits of working in a space that's close to home but offers so much more than working from home. Let's get started with today's conversation. Today on the Caddo Convos, I'm joined by Tamika Taylor of the Evolution Collective. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Glad to have you here. Right out of the gate, what is the Evolution Collective? What do you do, and how do you benefit your audience, your customers? Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I'm known as America's Mindset Coach. I specialize in mindset leadership development through personality advancement.
Nice.
It's a very fancy way to say that I bring humans back to themselves. I help them understand the unique things that they do and how it's different from everybody else in the world, and how to use that power to motivate and transform themselves, teams, and companies.
So walk me through that process, because that's a process, right? Yeah. You got to start somewhere. So how does one start with you?
Yeah. Typically people come to me when things just aren't right. A lot of business owners, small business owners, I've gotten more individuals over the years. I work with corporate teams as well, but something's not right. Something's not working. Yeah. They're uncomfortable, and they can't figure it out or name it, but they're also seeing it inside of their business. Oh. When we see those downturns or the dips or the plateaus, business problems are personal problems in disguise.
Right.
So they find me. And I have a program called the Personality Recipe, in which I test them up and down, left and right, in different personality realms. Everybody takes personality tests at some point in their life, right? We did it in high school. Some corporate jobs require it, but nobody tells you how to use it. It's just a packet of information. Right. So I help individuals gain that knowledge and understand their true selves. Because the world gives us a lot of masks on who we should be. And usually when somebody comes to me and something's not right, it's because they're operating on who they think they should be, not who they want to be or could be or were even made to be.
Right. Interesting. So tell me, who are they? If you had a pie chart of your people, the people who are coming to you, I'd say what's the majority?
So it depends. If they're looking for me for speaking, it's going to be corporate teams. I speak all over the world to corporate organizations for inspirational speaking to their teams. If it's an individual, on average, it's about 40 to 50 years old. A lot of women. I do have some men that I work with, but majority women who are running a team of 5 people or more. Okay, interesting. And so I'd say let's focus on that last group. Are they changing careers, starting a business? They're hitting a wall, apparently, to call you. What is that wall? So there's a couple different walls. Yeah. One, their identity is changing in some way, shape, or form personally. Yeah. They've either gone through divorce, want to get divorced, are in transition with their kids. Their kids are getting older, so now they have the opportunity to think about themselves. That's on the personal side. If they are a business owner, they've plateaued. They pretty standardly are in their 4th or 5th year of business, which we know in business, the 5-year hump signifies whether you're going to make it or not. Yep. And so they're usually at that point where they've hit such discomfort and they can't figure it out through their systems and processes and all of the technology that they have. And they start to realize, oh, maybe it's me. Maybe it's my team. Maybe I don't have people in the right positions based off of their zone of genius. So I help them process through what's not working so that they can get to that next level. A lot of individuals, especially in business, don't see it as an advantage when things are going wrong. They see it as a disadvantage. Mm-hmm. Why me? Why is this happening? What do I do? But that's my sweet spot. I love when somebody's in a struggle, which sounds terrible, but that means that they are being given lessons that they need to process through in order to get to that next level. Because you can't handle the next level's devils if you are still dealing with them at this level.
Is that a phrase you say? I was like, that sounds clever.
Yeah.
Dealing with next level's devils. Fantastic.
Because each level has one.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks, the pipeline dream, that's starting a business. You have freedom and flexibility and all of these things. And, the American dream, when in actuality, most business owners work more than they do. They just like their work more, so it doesn't feel as hard. So when the hard times do come, a lot of people internalize that there's something wrong with them or the people. And it's not that. It's just there's lessons you need to learn here in order to move.
How does the process start?
Usually they reach out to me. They've heard me speak. And I do with every single person. It's called a discovery call, where it's just me rapid firing questions at them. What's going on in your life? What's going on in your business? What doesn't feel right? I practice very emotion-based because a lot of the things that happen in our business are influenced by emotions. Humans make emotional errors, whether they are aware of them or not, and get down to the grassroots of what is our problem? What is the problem here? And how do we fix it? And then from there, I test them up and down. If they have people on their team, we test their team. We create a team grid to understand everybody that's working there, making sure they're in their zone of genius. And then I work with people individually 3 to 4 times a month. They get 24/7 access to me because it's a lot of processing and big things happen. But what's really great about it is when people come to me and they're in a struggle, I'm like, it's going to be hard for a couple of weeks because now you're aware.
Yep.
And we've made you aware, and we're going to become aware of more things. But we have to excavate those things in order to move you to the next level. So I'm working in alignment with them and their business.
Yeah. Interesting. You have to disqualify some people.
Yes.
And that's part of the process.
Absolutely.
Is basically saying, I can't help you for whatever reason. How do you gently, I assume, turn people away, or what tools you give them with basically go work on X and come back, or disqualify them? Again, I don't want to dive too deep into your process. It's your process.
Yeah, absolutely. There are very few people who are disqualified from working with me. If they are, I do give them tools and resources. You need to read this book.
Nice.
I need you to read this book and process with these guys, because I do have worksheets that go with books, because reading books is a passive activity. If you don't do anything with it, it doesn't matter. So I'm looking for change and space. A lot of the things that disqualify people from working with me is time.
Oh.
Time is a huge stopper. Well, I can't take an hour. Okay, well then in 6 months, you're still going to be here. So is it worth the hour a week now to not be where you are in 6 months? So I do a time study. Show me how you're spending your time.
Wonderful. Let's talk about the question that I would ask is, what's the financial commitment? Do you have different packages for people to meet them where they are? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I do. So some people are straight out of the gate. Yes, we have to fix this problem right now. Let's do this. So those are the people that meet with me weekly.
Yeah.
And then I have people who have done some work like this before in the past. So they meet with me monthly and then get on the go Voxer coaching. Voxer is a walkie-talkie app similar to like the audio notes on phones, but not everybody has an iPhone. So I can't send it to non-iPhone users.
Right.
But it allows me to talk back and forth with them and give them guidance without having to take an hour of their time every week.
Right.
And then there's some people who are on just straight Voxer coaching. So it's on the go coaching for as issues are coming up. And some people start there to realize that they need more.
Right. That usually makes sense. Once the healing starts, you want to heal more.
Right. Yeah.
What's a typical commitment from a time perspective? You mentioned, there are time boxing and hours and whatnot, calendar wise.
Yeah.
A month, 6 months, a year, 100 years,
Yeah. On average, the first part of the journey, because it's the excavation journey, it's hard and we learn a lot and we have to find more. And that's about 6 months.
Yeah.
Then people go on what we call maintenance, which is that once a month, and then Voxer coaching. But I've had some clients that have been with me for 5+ years.
Wow, that's fantastic. And if you're listening, you're hearing we are at the Caddo Office Reimagined in the North Tarrant location. And I say if you're listening because we're in one of the conference rooms and there's all kinds of a buzz going on, so you may hear other people out there enjoying themselves. Why did you choose Caddo for your business, for your home base?
Well, I actually, years and years ago, when I first moved to Texas, I was a professional makeup artist. Fun fact, weird trade that I have. And I used a facility like this. Is actually, I think it's Caddo Frisco. It used to be owned by somebody else. Mm-hmm. And I had used that environment before. And I loved the aspect of being able to have a space to work out of, but also spaces to do things and host events and things like that. I used to own a co-working space last year, and I got to know the Caddo team pretty well when they were looking at the North Richland Hills location through networking and whatnot. Sure. But I ended up actually closing that space because my schedule got so full with travel that when I needed a place to host my own podcast and meet with clients and also have meeting spaces that I could use, and aesthetics is a very important thing to me, and the Caddo offices are beautiful. There's just always something to look at. There's always happy people here. And so when I needed to move, they were my first call.
That's wonderful. And the amenities here, because you're meeting people online. Are you meeting people in person? So tell me about your in person for people that want to come and visit you and get involved.
Yeah, I do in-person meetings one-on-one, but I also host monthly events. So one of my flagship programs way back when I started is called Wine, Whiskey, and Wisdom. And it was a way for people to understand the corporate side of me. Yeah. Because I've done this corporately for a long time. But it was a way for them to understand me and see the work that I do in a very laid back environment. It's easier to get people to talk about themselves and have hard conversations around a table and around food. So the meeting rooms here, I still host once a month events like that. I do small round tables. I do corporate team trainings here in the meeting rooms, and just an environment for you to learn more about you without the commitment of having to really dive in deep.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have a podcast studio here in the building. Mm-hmm. You also have a podcast. Tell me about your show.
Yeah, it's called Say More Words. We are in the top 5% globally for self-help, which I love to tell people because self-help is one of the hardest categories in podcasting, because I'm going against people like Tony Robbins and Mel Robbins and Ed Milet. Like, I'm going against the big hitters in this realm, but it exists to tell stories. As the most connected generations that have ever existed, we are the most disconnected. I found over and over and over again with the people I was helping that we've created this environment where everyone thinks it's just them. They're the only ones going through those problems. It's like life is just hard for them. And that's just complete nonsense. Yeah, one of my favorite things to tell people is like, you're not special enough to be the only person in the world that this has happened to.
Right.
So Say More Words exists so that people can hear other people's stories of resiliency, the things that they've accomplished, the things they've gone through, and just to have a different perspective on life.
Oh, fantastic. So Say More Words, it's on all the platforms, I imagine.
All the platforms, including YouTube.
Excellent,
Mm-hmm.
excellent. So hopefully you get more subscribers out of this, and best case scenario, more clients, right? Yeah. But I like your history, very diverse history. So, because one doesn't get to where you are. And so kind of walk us through your career path to get to where you are now. I want to just hear a little more depth on those.
Yeah. So I originally went to school to be a doctor, got a genetics degree, and then graduated during the 2008 recession, which was a problem. Yeah. And I was very active in my university, and a mentor of mine was like, you should go into higher education. You love to talk to people. You love this. Turns out when you get a genetics degree, you don't really talk to people. You just sit in a lab, and that was not for me. So after I got my bachelor's degree, I went off and got my master's in, I got a socio-psychology bachelor's degree after my genetics degree. And then I got a master's degree in educational leadership, focusing primarily on student success. I worked in higher education for a long time, left that, went corporate, and did educational and sales and communication corporately. But I was exhausted, became a mom, hated the 9-to-5 world. People telling me when I can go on vacation is not my vibe. So in 2019, I went off on my own, because the knowledge that I had built working in corporate, working in education, with leadership and everything I teach now was something I was taught when I was being an educator and helping lost college students move forward. Turns out we have more lost adults than we have college students. And so I just used the techniques that I used to make successful students, and now I make successful all kinds of humans.
Yeah, that's wonderful. For people who know that they want to be successful or are, but are still struggling, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, so my website is www.tamikataylor.com. Super simple. I am active on all social media platforms as the Tamika Taylor. Very simple, easy way to find me. You can find me on LinkedIn at the Tamika Taylor as well.
Wonderful. And for people who are like me, I'm a business owner as well. You are kind of at your own roadblock, right? For people who are basically blocking themselves, what would you say to them in order to get them to reach out to you or seek help at all?
Yeah. If you are feeling meh, if you aren't inspired by life, if you know you're doing good work, but it's not exciting to you anymore, if you wake up in the morning and just go, another day, those are all signs that something's not working. And they're things that we do unconsciously as humans.
Yeah.
Another day. I'm exhausted. I have to do this. When you live in a world of I have to do this instead of I get to do this, you won't be prosperous. You won't move forward. If you're in that space, now is the time to do something about it.
That's wonderful. Well, Tamika, thank you for being on the Caddo Convos today and sharing your knowledge and passion for what you do.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was great.
Thank you for joining us today on the Caddo Convos podcast. A huge shout out to our incredible network of members for making our community vibrant and supportive. If you're looking to boost your productivity and reduce the isolation of working from home, consider joining us at Caddo Office Reimagined. Our spaces are designed to meet your evolving needs, support remote work, and foster a sense of community that's hard to find at home. Whether you're a startup aiming for growth, a freelancer seeking a professional setting, or a company looking to optimize resources, Caddo offers a perfect blend of flexibility and innovation. By joining us, you'll be a part of a dynamic business ecosystem that helps you thrive. For more information, visit caddooffices.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Caddo Convos.